What is up people, this is Vishal and I'm back again with another video. It's 2 a.m. in the morning, but I really wanted to get this video out because in my last few videos some of you asked for the directory structure of my demo application. So in this one, let's take a look at my recommended directory structure for your React applications. Do subscribe to my channel because I'm going to post about 3 videos this week. So click on the notification bell, subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss out on those. So without wasting any further time, let's jump into the video. So in my last mini series about Christmas with Redux, we talked about creating an application called Name the Color, and we were using this particular application to do that. So it was very straightforward. You go to Name the Color, enter the hex code, and you get the color name of the color printed out over here. So let's first look at the directory structure of this project, then we will go into the depth of my overall code along project. Okay, so moving on to my editor right now. So I'll zoom in to the directory structure, so because rest of the things are not so important. So this is my playground package. So this is the playground package with package.json having a name as code along playground. So this is the package that is being executed over here. So let's talk about the directory structure over here. So very simple directory structure. We have the same React application that I created without using CRA. If you have not checked out that video, link will be in the description, and you can go check that out as well. Now inside my src directory, you can see that there is a folder called apps. So the project structure that I like to follow, the people who are here since the start of this channel, you might be knowing that I have been talking about sub applications inside a React application. So that's why there is a apps folder over here. So the reason why we have a apps folder over here is because according to my mentality, what I'm going to do here is this playground application is going to be my parent application, and this apps folder is going to hold sub applications inside my parent application. So let's say I'm building a retail website, so a cart page will be a separate sub app, a home page, landing page would be a separate web app, billing page will be a separate web app, separate sub app, and similarly all the other different sections of my website will be divided into several sub applications. So very simple reason for doing this is because when you're working with big projects and some organization where there are multiple teams, and later if your project is getting too huge and each of these different teams, let's say there is a team for order management which wants to manage everything related to orders on the website. If they want to separate out this application, they can simply create a new package and just pull in this particular directory out and plug it into their new repository with minimal configurations around it to get this working. So this makes things very segregated. It will not be complicated to separate it out later, right? So that's why I like to follow the approach of having sub applications. And yes, now inside the sub applications for my particular project, where I have a home screen, then I go to Name the Color application, right? So for this particular scenario, I have two applications. This is my home application, and then I have a Name the Color application. So what I'm doing in my home is everything, all the components that are related to the home application will be inside my home directory. Okay, so everything. So right now there's just an entry point over here, home.jsx, which basically loads my home app. But later, if there are multiple components into my home page, I will use this particular directory and basically create a new directory over here for creating my components and so on. So we'll quickly see that as well inside my Name the Color sub application, but let's just talk about the home first. So I have the entry point for my home sub application, which is home.jsx and home.module.css. So everything, all the CSS related things that are important for my home basically the home sub app will be over here. Now in this you can see that I'm importing something from commons, right? So commons, let's talk about commons now. So commons is going to hold all the things which are common across my sub applications. Okay, so there are some components. So there is a layout which is common across both of my sub applications, and then we have some of the utilities. So I have a React context API. I'm using context API for my breadcrumbs, so that's something common across my entire application, right? So it goes inside my commons, and there are some common styles, which is containers module.scss, which is what I'm importing over here, right? So this is what commons is directory is for. So it will hold all the utilities for my application and any other things which are common across all my sub applications. Okay, now I also have a store over here, which is basically the store of the parent application. But if you have noticed in my Christmas with Redux mini series, you would notice that everything that is happening inside these is based on, let me zoom out a bit. Yeah, so everything that I'm building over here is all coming from my sub applications. So you can see the sub applications is basically passing me the reducers, sub applications is also passing me the sagas, right? So all these sub applications, so basically everything is getting delivered from my sub applications. They are getting bundled over here and supplied to the complete supplied to the configuration that the store needs, right? So this store is basically just pulling the strings together and making all of them at one place, like all the reducers, sagas at one place. Okay, so that's the reason we have a common store folder for my parent app. Okay, now let's go back to our sub applications. So we already talked about home. The constants over here are only, so by now I think it would be clear that the constants.js or anything inside my home directory is responsible for rendering the things that are there on home sub application, right? So my home sub application right now doesn't really have much, but in the bigger projects it will have a lot of data, right? Now inside my constants I just have a set of projects. It's just an array over here which is basically responsible to show this list, but in your use case it might hold something more important things. For my small use case it's just a list of projects. Okay, now coming to the other application over here, which is sub application name the color. Now you can see that name the color also is not really having a lot of components. I have actually written everything inside this particular component itself. Okay, so everything, all the CSS, everything is here itself. I'm not really doing a lot of things in this one. Okay, and when it comes to the store, let's talk about the store over here. So notice that name the color, everything related to name the color, the store about name the color is basically going to be stored over here. Now name the color is basically having sagas, index and all these things, but the important part over here is what I'm exporting out of the store. So you'll see that I'm exporting all of my sagas. Okay, so everything that is related to this particular application is getting dished out from here, and you can see I'm also dishing out my reducers from here. I'm also dishing out my sagas from here, right? So that's the reason why so basically this is going to help me create a separate store or a separate node in the store for this particular sub application itself. So you must have seen that already, but let me quickly show you that as well. So once you open the directory, go to Redux and state, you can see the NTC application has its own node over here. Okay, similarly for home I would have something like home and so on. So each of the sub applications will have their own particular node inside my store. Okay, going back to our project. So this is what I'm trying to do over here, where what I'm trying to achieve is I'm trying to have everything related to one particular sub application at one place, and everything related to everything that is common among the sub applications is inside the commons. Now so everything, I hope things are clear about the sub applications over here. So once this is done, now the good part comes over here is the app routes. Okay, so now each of my routes are very easily available, where I can quickly say that this is my layout for loading my applications. I'm just gonna use home and name the color, right? So I'm just talking about reaching my sub application, and if I want to extend my routes inside my sub application, I would do that inside my sub applications itself. Okay, no, I will not touch, I will only render the sub applications from my parent router. Okay, if I want to extend this route, let's say I want something, some path like slash name the color slash blah, that time that slash blah would be something that would be inside my name the color sub application. So that's the approach that I'm taking over here for my React applications, where each of these are going to be a sub application. Okay, so this is about the React, and I think I've talked about this a lot inside whenever I've explained about the projects in my previous videos. So this basically helps me keep everything segregated and together for each of the sub applications. Right, and now let's move on to my other demo. So if you have seen my other videos, you must have noticed that I have used this particular website at a lot of places. When I was making a video for memoization, I used this, right? So now what exactly is happening here, and how is this website coming into the picture, how I've made the directory structure for this one, we will talk about that now. So let's talk about my other application now, where I have this simple landing page and a playground and a problems tab over here. So what I have done over here to achieve this particular application, so there's not really a lot on this application, but the directory structure is something which is important for this one. So another thing that I wanted to show from my previous talk about the playground package. So another thing that is advantageous to do is if you notice over here, I have my app routes over here, which are now pointing to home app, NTC app. Now let's look where these home app and NTC app are coming from. They're coming from suspended routes. Now what I've done over here is, this is really another advantage of writing your applications like this, is my application, I am dividing my application into multiple chunks. So this is going to create a home.bundle.js, this is going to create an ntc.bundle.js. so why is this important? I'll create a separate video about code splitting where I'll talk about the importance of this, but to get the gist of it, it's basically dividing a bundle of, let's say, 5 MB into two parts now. Home application, let's say it contributes to only 2 MB, while the rest of the NTC app is going to contribute to the rest of the 2 MB, and all the vendors and React.js and all those third-party tools are going to contribute to 1 MB. So what this helps me to do is, instead of loading the entire bundle of 5 MB together, I'll be loading it when it is needed, right? So let's say I'm on home app right now, so I'll only load the home.bundle.js. And the good thing about this is, when I'm on home app, I know that I'm using the home sub application, so everything related to home sub application will be loaded at once. And when I go to the NTC application, that's when I'll be loading the ntc.bundle.js, and this gives a very clear division path for me, where I say that each of the applications will be lazily loaded. Okay, so I'll create a separate video about code splitting and the configurations that you need to do for that, and let's do that in some other video. But let's jump into my other package, which is code along. So this is the package name, code along, and if you look at the package JSON, it just says code along over here. Now this package has been pushed to my Git repository as well, so you can find it at vishal0203/code-along, and everything related to what I have done in this package are already there on my GitHub. Okay, let's talk about the details that we have inside our code along package now. So let's look at the package JSON first. The first and foremost thing is I'm using Yarn, and Yarn has a concept of workspaces. So in my parent application, which is code along, I have a package JSON where I'm saying this is a workspace, and all the rest of the packages are inside my packages folder. Now inside my packages folder, I have several applications, which is playground, server, utilities, web app, right? So playground is the same application that I just gave you a brief intro about what code structure that I'm using over there. So notice that each of these packages have their own package JSON, right? So the server has its own package JSON. The server is a Node.js server. Now utilities has its own package JSON, web app has its own package JSON, and so on, right? So what we are trying to do over here is I have a monolith package which is having several other smaller packages, which is playground with the name code along/playground. Then we have utilities, which is code along/utilities, and so on, right? So the good thing about this is when your application is getting bigger and you want a proper code management and all those things to be happening, then you can use this workspace concept. And it is not just me who uses this. If you head on to React router, or let's go for Babel, right? So let's look at React router GitHub. Let me just type React router git, and here it is, and you can see that they are kind of following the same structure over here. So let's open their package JSON and let's look for workspaces. So this is where we can see the workspaces concept in this as well, where the packages are defined over here. And inside our packages folder, you can see that they have their own set of packages, right? So each of these packages have their own package JSON. Each of these packages have their own package JSON, right? Similarly for Babel as well, and a lot of other packages as well. Let's talk about Neurorox as well. So this is another package which I love, and it kind of follows the same approach. So we have a package JSON over here, and each of them, let's talk about the workspaces. Yeah, you can see that the workspaces is right here, which is kind of stating where are the packages for this particular application. And this is the advantage of doing this, is you have a monolith package, and your all the different packages, it is basically dividing your complete library into multiple other small libraries, which can be imported as the need arises. Okay, so let's say this particular library, let's say it is 2 MB, and I don't really need all of these charts. I only need the bar chart, right? So I don't need to import the entire 2 MB. I'll just use my bar, which is going to be significantly less compared to the entire size of the library, right? So this is one of the structures that people follow, and that's exactly the same thing that I have tried to achieve in this one. So I've created a package. I have a code along package with a set of multiple packages, which is playground, server, utilities, web app, right? Now each of these have their own package JSON. Each of these have their own scripts, which is, you can see over here, the start, Similarly for playground, there is a start, right? So all of these packages have a start keyword, script. So this one only has a build one, so ignore this one. So web app also has a start. Okay, so all of these packages have a script called start. Now on top of yarn workspaces, I've also utilized a tool called learner. So why do we use learner is basically it will parallelly allow me to run multiple commands. I can parallelly I can manage the versioning of all of these packages which are dependent to each other at once. Probably this is not the right example for this, but look at Nevo, and you can see that all of these multiple packages that this particular library has, they are individually altogether managed to have a same versioning upgrade, so which is 0791 that you can see over here, right? So learner basically allows me to do all those things. So I'll just show you the get page of learner so that you can visit that later and study about this tool. So this is the learner get page, and they have a set of commands: learner publish, bootstrap, and so on. So I'll talk about the learner bootstrap first. So what learner bootstrap basically does is all of these packages are having their own packages on, right? Now the question arises is, when I have my individual package JSONs, I'll be basically installing the same packages for multiple, so all same dependencies for multiple packages, right? So let's say web app requires React, playground also requires React. So the question is it going to install React twice? So because of yarn workspace, now what happens is the yarn workspace will only create one node modules folder, and all the packages will be defined, will be put into this particular node modules folder. Rest of the other node module folders that you are going to see is just going to hold the binaries. So you can see there is not any package or dependency installed over here, it is just holding the binaries, right? So that's the advantage of using yarn workspace. Now learner bootstrap, what else learner bootstrap brings is this thing. So you can see over here that in my package JSON of my web app, I have a dependency at code along utilities. So what is at code along utilities? It is something which is not there on npm registry. I have never pushed code along utilities to npm registry, but this particular code along utilities is something which is there inside my code along package. Now when you run learner bootstrap, it basically sees that okay, I have to get in the dependency of at code along / utilities. So how do I get it? So what it does is it builds this particular package. Okay, so whatever the build is, that build will create a symlink inside the node modules. Okay, so there is a dist over here, a similar symlink will be created inside my node module. So let's quickly look for code along over here, and you can see there is a tiny link option over here which basically indicates that this is a symlink. Okay, so for my utilities, you can see all of these are basically coming over here, and when I say at code along / utilities, it is basically looking into this particular dist directory. How can I say that it is looking inside the dist directory? I'll show that as well. Inside my utilities, in my package JSON, you can see that the main configuration inside my package JSON is pointing to dist / index.js. So when I write at code along utilities, or whenever I try to import anything from at code along utilities, it is going to look at the dist folder inside my node modules. Okay, so node modules, code along, utilities, and it will automatically go inside the dist and index.js. Okay, so this is a transpiled version, so you can see that it is basically pointing to that particular thing. So without even pushing my package to the npm repository, I'm able to have that feature or flexibility using learner. Right now, another advantage over here is if you go to package.json over here and see the start script. So I've written a command over here which is learner run parallel start. So what this basically does is, let's go to our terminal. I've already run that command over here which says learner run parallel start. So all of these individual packages which has a start script, right, that is playground, server and web app, all of these packages will have their start script executed parallelly. So you can see Webpack server is getting executed, my Node.js server is getting initiated, and another Webpack server is getting executed. And you can see that code along server is running, then code along web app, then code along playground, and all these applications are running in parallel. So my APIs for demonstrating the memoization concept is written inside my Node.js package. So I just run yarn start once and all of my servers are ready and good to go, right? So this is what learner is basically bringing the capability. And as I showed you, many tools use this. Learner is something which is getting used by Nivorox. Learner is also getting used by Babel as well, I think. Let's just quickly check. Okay, learner is not something which is getting used over here, but it still follows the same versioning and all these things using the yarn workspace. Okay, so Babel has quite a lot of packages, so it will be very hard to maintain such a big library without using a tool called, without using yarn workspaces basically. So this is what Babel is doing, and not just Babel, actually even the React itself uses yarn workspace. So let me quickly show that as well. So React Git, and if you go over here, you can see that inside the package.json you will see the workspace which is pointing to packages, and all these tools that are there that we install, that is React DOM, React DevTools, and everything over here is basically a part of the same monolith repository. So that's what I tried to replicate in my code along demo. This particular repository is available on my GitHub. You can go check it out, figure out what and how things are working on. It is better to see at a small project rather than a big project to start with. So this is a good starting point. Alright, so that's all I wanted to talk about in this one. I hope this video was very informative for you guys, and I hope you start utilizing these recommendations if you like them. So like this video, share this video with your friends and colleagues, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button and notification bell to get notified about my videos whenever I upload them. So see you in the next one. Bye.